on September 30th, 1938. In Munich, Adolf Hitler was at the height of his power. With one signature, he took the Sudetenland from Czechoslovakia without firing a single shot. The Munich Agreement, signed by Britain and France, gave Hitler what he wanted, leaving Czechoslovakia betrayed and vulnerable. Its defenses were gutted, and its borders redrawn. Just months before, Hitler had already annexed Austria through the Anschluss, bringing it into Nazi Germany. At home, he was celebrated as a diplomatic genius and the protector of German-speaking people. Nazi propaganda filled the newspapers and radio waves with images of a triumphant Führer. The German public cheered him on, believing their nation was finally rising again. But beneath this polished image of strength and unity, a scandal was quietly growing, one that threatened to shatter the illusion of Nazi discipline. It involved one of Hitler's closest men, Joseph Goebbels, the Minister of Propaganda. He had fallen deeply in love with an actress. Her name was Lída Baarová, a woman whose beauty could charm almost anyone, and who came from a land Hitler considered inferior. Lída Baarová, born Lída Baarová on September 7, 1914, in Prague, was raised in a middle-class family. Her father worked for the city. Her mother was an opera singer. Lída and her younger sister, Zorka, both showed talent for performing from a young age. While Lida had striking looks and grace, Zorka also began to land acting roles as she got older. During the interwar period, Czechoslovakia was a functioning democracy, especially compared to other parts of Central Europe. Its constitution supported minority rights and allowed for cultural diversity. Prague became a center of culture, modern art, and architecture. Lida grew up in this atmosphere and enrolled at the Prague Conservatory to study acting. But when she got an offer to act in a film at just 17, she took it, breaking the school's rules and getting expelled. Instead of discouraging her, it pushed her forward. By the early 1930s, Lida was one of the most popular film actresses in Czechoslovakia. She gained fame in comedies and worked with major local stars. Audiences loved her, though critics often focused more on her beauty than her talent. Determined to prove herself, she sought more serious roles. Some directors saw her potential and gave her chances to show her depth as an actress. Her sister Zorka also entered the film industry and showed promise. The sisters appeared together in the 1939 movie Fiery Summer. Sadly, Zorka's life would later take a tragic turn. As her fame grew, Lida's career caught the attention of film studios in Nazi Germany, a country that was quickly becoming an enemy of democratic Czechoslovakia. But Berlin's film industry was still the biggest in Europe, and it needed actors. Many artists had fled or been banned for political or racial reasons. In 1934, Lida moved to Berlin. That same year, she met Hitler, who reportedly told her she reminded him of his late niece, Geli Raubal. She signed a contract with UFA, the largest film studio in Germany, which operated under the Nazi propaganda machine. Her first films there, including Barcarol and Die Fledermaus, were a success. She learned German quickly and became a sensation. Hollywood even came calling. But she turned down a long-term contract, something she later said was the worst mistake of her life. "I could have been as famous as Marlene Dietrich," she once remarked. While in Germany, she had a relationship with actor Gustav Fröhlich. He was admired at the time, but had a dark history. He had divorced his Jewish wife to protect his career and her Nazi role. Although Nazi Germany tolerated entertainment films, they always had a purpose. Goebbels believed movies could shape public opinion while distracting from the regime's brutality. He carefully chose what films were made and which stars were promoted. Popular actors were paraded at parties and premieres to glamorize the Third Reich. Lida became one of those stars. Her beauty and fame made her hard to ignore, even for Goebbels himself. Despite his public image as a devoted family man, Goebbels pursued her. Lida later said she tried to resist, but Goebbels' power made it difficult to say no. Their affair became serious, even though Goebbels was married with children. It was dangerous not just personally, but politically. Hitler had strict ideas about family, loyalty, and morality, especially when it came to women in the public eye. Goebbels, who had been sickly as a child and walked with a limp due to a deformed foot, had always used charisma and power to overcome his physical shortcomings. Eventually, Goebbels wanted to divorce his wife to be with Lida. Hitler, alarmed by the potential scandal, stepped in. He ordered Goebbels to end the relationship and ban Lida from working in German films. With her career in Berlin destroyed, Lida returned to Prague. But home wasn't what it once was. Czechoslovakia had been torn apart after the Munich Agreement gave the Sudetenland to Germany. The rest of the country was invaded in March 1939. The Nazis established the Protectorate of Bohemia and Moravia. Although it pretended to offer some self-governance, real power belonged to the Germans. Daily life was marked by fear, surveillance, and repression. Anyone who had cooperated with the Nazis or even appeared close to them was viewed with deep suspicion. When Lida returned, her past with Goebbels made her a target of public anger and distrust. Her reputation was in ruins. She appeared in a few Czech films, but soon, work dried up. Hoping to start over, she moved to Italy and acted in films like La Fornarina and Lipicampo, working with stars like Vittorio De Sica. But the war disrupted everything. As Allied troops landed in Italy, she returned to Prague to escape the fighting. In early 1945, as Nazi Germany was collapsing, she fled again, this time to southern Germany. There, she was arrested by American forces and interrogated about her relationship with Goebbels. Later that year, she was sent back to Czechoslovakia. She was held in prison for over a year under suspicion of collaborating with the Nazis. During that time, her mother died during an interrogation. Her sister Zorka, shamed and unable to find work, took her own life in March 1946. She was just 2 for. In the end, the court found no solid evidence to convict Lida of treason, and she was released in December 1946. But the damage was done. Her family was broken, and her name was permanently stained. After the communist takeover in 1948, she fled Czechoslovakia with her husband, the puppeteer Jan Kapek. She moved to Austria, and in the 1950s, tried to rebuild her career in Italy and Spain, landing small roles including one in Federico Fellini's I Vitelloni. But the spotlight never returned. She later married an Austrian doctor, Kurt Lundwall, and settled in Salzburg. Although she lived comfortably, she remained isolated. Interviews she gave about her past often failed to change public opinion. The Goebbels affair haunted her for the rest of her life. Lída Baarova's story is one of ambition, glamour, scandal, and tragedy. She rose quickly, fell hard, and never fully recovered. Her sister's fate, her mother's death, and her shattered reputation became permanent parts of her legacy. She died childless on October 27, 2000, at the age of 86. Her ashes were buried in Prague's Strana Cemetery, alongside her parents and her sister Zorka. Thank you for watching the Map of Memories channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you don't miss future episodes. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.